The Dite is an Adavu which is fairly simple. Just goes te, Dite. So it uses the idea of the torso shift, which is very different from the lean or the bend, which you would have seen before. The shift is where you take the torso up along with your breath, turn it around and form a C, right? So when you do this particular Adavu, that is what stands out. Let us first look at the first layer, which is the legs. You have a swastikam, strike, dit, te. Let's see it once, just the legs. Dallang kutaka dikutaka tadingina tum te, dit, te, dit, te, dit, te. When you look at this, there are two things that you have to look out for. When you do te, you have to make sure that the swastikam does not fall, because if the swastikam falls, your knees will come closer. Can you show me the swastikam and allow it to fall? See how the knees come closer. So it's important that you keep the swastikam raised even when you strike the te. And then this Adavu is one of those Adavus where it is meant to move. So dit, te is not just doing it in the same place. Dit, and you go as close to your leg, other leg, and strike there. So the idea is to move laterally. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, and te, dit, te, dit, te, dit, te, dit, te. So having this lateral movement is the main important intent of the Adavu, that you are moving laterally. Now let us look at the torso movement, which is the second layer. When you look at the torso movement, it is very subtle. It is easier to understand a big movement like te, but we are not doing that. What we are doing is lifting it up. When you're going to the right, your right is getting shorter than your left, which means you're not doing a bend where your right is lengthened at an angle, but you're actually pulling in your right and making the other side taller and the right side shorter. So it requires a lot of understanding of your torso. So now when you look at the torso movement, it is good to have a suchi to understand it. So you are going up and turning around, breathe out, te. Dit is a strong profile you're doing. Dit, te. Dit, you stay there, and for te, you turn your finger to face the audience and finish in the center. So let us just do the torso with the suchi, because the suchi is always easier to understand since it points. Let's see. Dalang kutaka dikutaka tadingina tum te, dit, te, dit, left, te, dit, te, dit, te. So if you notice, this is such a soft movement, but it has so much work. And dit, te has to be this strong king, queen, royal kind of movement. When you do dit, te, and te makes it really soft. Let's do it now once again, right and left. 1, 2, 3, and te, dit, te, dit, te, 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 dhit, dhit, te, 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 dhit, dhit, te. So when you're doing this, it's important that you differentiate your shift and bend. So in case you find yourself moving out of your body frame, this is your body frame till your shoulder. If you're going up and inside, within the body frame, it's a shift. But if you think you're doing te and moving outside of your body frame, that's a bend. So we want to try and stick to the shift here. Let's now do it with the legs. Let's do the legs alone, hand alone, and then try and put together. 1, 2, 3, and te, te, dit, dit, te, 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 dit, dit, te, 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 dit, dit, te, 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 dit, dit, te. Now let us try it with the torso and the legs. 1, 2, second speed, te, te, dit, dit, te, 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 dit, dit, te, 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 dit, dit, te, 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 dit, dit, te. When it gets faster, you won't have the time to travel this whole circle and come down. At that time, it's important that you don't give importance to the upper side of the movement, but you go te, te. Directly breathe in and go to the lower part of the movement. Just finish te, te, dit, dit, te, instead of going te, te. Shall we try that? 1, 2, 3, and te, te, dit, dit, te, 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 dit, dit, te. Looking down, te, dit, dit, te, 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 dit, dit, te. So it's not as easy as it seems. It's deceptive because it's so soft, so graceful, but actually it's not easy. The point is, when they are stark, big movements, it's always easier to get than subtle, soft movements. So this is one of those lessons which you really need to work and work and work, because it's a different thing to see it in somebody else's body and feel it in our own body. So now let us go into the hands, the third layer. If you get the second layer, the third layer is pretty simple. But to get the second layer is the point. So your starting point is with your Natyarambham, and you directly move into an Alapadmam. This is how we were taught. But there are also people who do it with the Katakamukam. It's not about right or wrong, but let us have a standard so that we are all looking the same when we do this particular Adavu. So let's start with the Natyarambham, and te. Te is the same Suchi, but it's an Alapadmam Suchi. Think that still what counts is where your index finger is pointing. So when you did Suchi, your Alapadmam also is here. When you did the circle, Suchi was here, Alapadmam is here. So it's important that you feel that the Suchi is having the other 3 fingers open. Other 4, sorry. So te, te, you see? So it's the same Suchi which you are thinking about, but you just open the other finger, so it becomes an Alapadmam. And when you finish this, dhit, dhit is the same Suchi with the other 4 fingers stretched out. Dhit, dhit, te. Again, same Suchi which is coming in front, but along with the other 4. So it's important that the Suchi is still held in your mind, although you are doing different hastas. Ready? So let us try it. And when you do this, dhit, dhit, te, try and coordinate this side movement, dhit, dhit, along with this very royal kind of a profile. So what happens when you move to the side? You move as royalty. right? Let's try it. 1, 2, first speed. Te, te, dit, dit, te. You can move more. Te, te, dit, dit, te. Try to move more. Te, te. That's too big. It's becoming a bend. Te. Your left is okay. Dit once again. Te, te. Subtle, subtle, subtle. Keep it small. Dit, dit, te, te, te. Dit, dit, te, te, te. Dit, dit, te, te, te. Dit, dit, te. Now let us think about it in the second speed, because it will feel different in the first speed and second speed. Because when you are doing the te, te, dit, dit, te, you can't give so much importance to the upper part of the movement, but more importance to the lower part of the movement. And when you do this, look where the finger is pointing on the floor, not to the side, but on the floor. Right. 1, 2, 3, second speed. Te, te, dit, dit, te. Te, te, dit, dit, te. Te, te. Differentiate the majestic part and the soft part. Te, te, dit, dit, te. 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 If you notice, naturally there was a change in the smile. Te, te was more warm. Dit, dit, te was more majestic. So that smile also influences your movement. So it's important to understand that smile is not that last thing you just stick on with your dance. That never happens. But actually you allow your smile also to go with your movement. So when you're doing a soft movement, it's like a smile you'll give your friend, something warm and open. And when you do dit, dit, te is probably when you're receiving an award or something, where you have pride, you have also the necessity to be formal, and you're addressing a lot of people. So all this goes in that dit, dit, te. It's not that. Te, te is that, where it's warm, open, smiling. Dit, dit, te is full of this majestic feeling. Let's do it in third speed. Now in the third speed, you definitely cannot go te, te, dit, dit, te. It will be too much. So you go from here, te, te, dit, dit, te. Not even the circle, but you're just going to go, if you want to see it with the suchi, it's just te. Directly down. No upward movement at all, because that is when you can go te, te, dit, dit, te, 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 dit, dit, te, te, te. Your shift will happen only when you do only the lower part of the movement and not the entire circle. Let's try. 1, 2, third speed. Te, te, dit, dit, te, 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 dit, dit, te. So that is te, te, dit, dit, te for you. Practice.